You memorize the textbook. You know every term backward and forward. Then, you walk out of your Cambridge IT 9626 exam thinking you crushed it, only to find out you lost entire grade boundaries. Today, we're exposing exactly why that happens and giving you the high-mark strategy to actually fix it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Listen to this definition. Data validation is an automatic computer check to ensure data entered is sensible and reasonable. Sounds like a perfect, textbook-accurate answer, right? I mean, if you saw a question asking about validation, you'd probably write exactly that, sit back, and expect full marks. But I have to drop a pretty harsh reality on you.
That seemingly flawless textbook answer, it scores absolutely 0 marks in an applied exam scenario. Literally 0. Welcome to what we call the context trap. This is, without a doubt, the single most painful mistake we see learners make. You knew the definition, you recalled it perfectly, but the examiner gave you absolutely nothing. Why? Because you threw down a disconnected fact instead of answering the actual applied scenario right in front of you.
Section 1. Why ordinary revision fails.
Here's the deal. The Cambridge IT 9626 syllabus isn't just testing your memory, it's testing your application. If your revision strategy relies on just naming concepts or memorizing isolated definitions, you are setting yourself up to fail. Honestly, examiners do not care if you can just name a piece of tech. They reward you for the applied context. They want to know exactly how this technology impacts a school, a busy hospital, or a financial business. Think about it. If the context of the question is a hospital's patient database, and you just give a generic definition of validation without ever mentioning medical records, you've completely failed to anchor your knowledge to the real world.
So, what does this all mean for you? Well, in a moment, I'll show you the hidden examiner clue that changes your answer completely. Leaving now means missing the exact signal that decides your grade. But first, you need the mental framework that makes that clue completely obvious.
Section 2. Building a bulletproof answer.
You know, the biggest issues examiners constantly report are students skipping vital process steps and using incredibly vague wording. When the clock is ticking, your brain just naturally takes shortcuts. I need to stop that by installing reliable memory structures right now. When you're studying literally any IT concept, you've got to be able to answer these 4 prompts. 1. What exactly is it? 2. How does it work? 3. Where is it used? And 4. Why is it better or worse than the alternative? If you can cover up your notes and answer those 4 questions out loud, boom, that topic is officially ready for the exam. If you can't, you need to rebuild it from a worked example.
So how do we actually translate those 4 study prompts onto the real exam paper? We use the ultimate Cambridge IT response framework: point, evidence, explanation, link, and judgment. It's like a formula for success. You make your point clearly. Then, you pull evidence directly from the scenario they gave you. Next, write out an explanation of the technical mechanism. After that, you link it back to the specific practical consequences for the user or the organization. And finally, if it's an evaluation question, you drop your judgment. This layered style is exactly what the mark schemes are begging for.
Section 3. Spot the examiner's trap.
All right, enough theory. Let's put you in the hot seat with a highly realistic 9626 scenario involving an organization's secure payroll system. Read this prompt carefully with me. Explain how validation and verification are used when entering employee hours into the new payroll system. Now pause for a second. Think about everything we've just discussed. Can you predict the mistake? What is the classic trap the average student is going to fall right into here?
This brilliantly illustrates the difference between an average response and an elite, top-band response. The generic trap is writing something like, validation checks if data is sensible and verification checks if it was typed correctly. No context, no scenario, just isolated facts. That's 0 marks. Now listen to this contextualized response. Validation, such as a range check, ensures employee hours entered do not exceed 40 per week, while double-entry verification ensures no typing errors were made by the clerk, preventing inaccurate payroll calculations. Do you see how incredibly powerful that is? They made their point, explained the mechanism, and linked it directly to employee hours and payroll calculation errors. Anchoring to the context is literally how you win the marks.
Let's distill this into some rapid-fire, authoritative examiner-style feedback. When you're writing your answers, you absolutely must avoid generic points. Anchor your response tightly to the scenario. I mean, if it's a payroll question, talk about money and hours. Classify the data correctly, whether it's direct or indirect, and explain the process steps clearly, right in sequence. Examiners reward specificity, they reward real-world transfer, they want to see that you actually understand how these technologies work in real workplaces, hospitals, or financial services.
When you evaluate your own answers, you'll start to see a massive difference between classic wrong turns and correct pathways. A huge trap is concept confusion.
Students constantly mix up online processing with real-time processing, or custom software with off-the-shelf software, which just leaves them writing down a bunch of isolated facts. The correct pathway requires comparative thinking and scenario matching. Don't just name a technique. Explain how it works compared to an alternative, and match it directly to the exact scenario you're given.
But here is the final diagnostic cliffhanger we've been building toward this whole time. Let's say your context is absolutely perfect. You've nailed appeal framework, you anchored it beautifully to the payroll scenario, and your process steps are flawless. But what if the command word in the question changes your entire mark band? Yep, even a perfectly contextualized answer will completely fail if the exam's command word is misdiagnosed. In our next explainer, we're going to break down the exact information technology command words that decide your mark band. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Until then, look back at your last practice paper and ask yourself, did you answer the command word the examiner actually gave you, or just the one you wanted to see?